Yo, what's up? This is a little quick response to Black Fight Fan TV. Um, I just watched the video where he was talking about the ratings for the Terrence Crawford fight, and I'm down here in New Orleans, and we got a big boxing community down here, big boxing community down here, and we talk about fights. Um, and Black Fight Fan spoke about how we peaked in the Nielsen ratings out of all other cities. And he's right. We got like we pretty much second to none when it comes to black people down here. And I've been saying it for the past couple of years, and I continue to say it. I mean, if you look at the history of boxing in New Orleans, look at some of the fights that happened here. The second Duran and Leonard fight happened here. The Nomas fight, Muhammad Ali fought here. You know what I'm saying? These fights happened at the Superdome. You know, I can understand some of the fighters today not being able to sell out the Superdome, but we got the Smoothie King Center right there, and we got other venues around here where you can have, good selling fights out here. But they don't happen. If we lucky, we might get a fight in Biloxi or something like that, where we got to drive like 50 minutes or an hour away. This is a market that has been untouched for over a decade, really, and it's shameful, man. It's shameful. I mean, we got a fighter right now in Regis, fighting at 135. Boy, the boy looks like a monster, but has yet to have a fight here. I mean, he had an open workout his last fight here. I wasn't able to make it that Thursday. But I wanted to, but I had commitments. I'm a grown man. I got a job, regular 9 to 5. But he has yet to fight here in New Orleans, and that's shameful, man. To me, that's shameful, bro. For the simple fact of the matter, like, he can build his base right here. He don't have to go to New York or wherever the fuck. He can build a base right here in New Orleans and have people following him, coming to see him. As his name gets bigger, people gonna be traveling here to come see him. And in general, yeah, we don't get those big marquee fights in the South unless you talking like Dallas or something like that. Maybe Houston sometime. But we need more fights like that. We need more fights of prestige down here, or just big names. You know what I'm saying? Send some of them names down here, and I guarantee you, a lot of these promoters will be surprised at the support they get. For the simple fact of the matter, they don't try it. They don't try it. All they got to do is give it a shot. Give it a shot. Like I said, you don't need to sell out the Superdome when you got the Smoothie King Center. Outside of the Pelicans and concerts or whatever, what other sporting events is going on out there? It ain't like we haven't held big fights here before in our history. We have. They need more fights. Look at the last big fight that really happened in somewhere like Memphis. I think that was Tyson and Lennox Lewis. At least Deontay Wilder holding fights in Birmingham. Florida might get a couple of fights. Speaking of Biloxi, Roy Jones used to fight in Biloxi a lot, Every now and then you might hear about a PBC card in Biloxi or something like that, but outside of that, you don't really hear about much down south, or in the heart of the South, should I say. You don't really hear about these fights like that. Rigo used to fight in Miami, but outside of Rigo, how many fights do you hear about in Miami? These are untouched markets that promoters don't go to. That you can build fighters and build fan bases and stuff and make these guys much larger. And people wonder why people gravitate to football players and basketball players and stuff like that. Well, look at the cities that they playing in, We got Anthony Davis down here. We got Drew Brees down here, We have a fighter that don't fight here. That just makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. If Errol Spence stays on the route that he's going, one day that man probably fill up the Cowboys Stadium. For real. He might fill up Jerry World from the route he's going. these promoters really need to start focusing on these major cities with down south, especially with their fighters of color. Fighters of color meaning black fighters. I just put it out there, meaning black fighters. They need to really start focusing on these major cities down south, especially if they're from those areas. That's smart business, if you ask me. You heard me? That's very smart business. But shout out to Black Fight Fan TV for putting it out there, because I totally agree with you, brother. I totally agree with you, big brother. I'm out.